We illustrate these charts in the threefold sense, as I have explained to you. The lines on this chart indicate the 1, the 2, the 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, the River Jordan making the division, the wilderness of Sinai making the 2, the Red Sea making the division here, and Egypt making the third counterpart. In the great universal tabernacle which God himself made and not the man, so that it would be portrayed in nature. Bear that in mind as we go along all the way. Everything that God instructed man to make will reflect the universe in its totality in a limited sense. For example, the ark, which was the first thing that we have on record that God instructed a man to make, it was threefold. It had the lower deck, the middle deck, and the upper deck. It only had one door in it and one window, because there is but one God, the illumination or the window of a man's intelligence and understanding. So that threefold has to be broken down in everything, even in its minute detail. The tabernacle is the next that we have on record that God, by divine revelation, instructed Moses to make, as we will show you when we get to the proper chart. But in the meantime, look at it like this. This is another physical structure that was made by man. This is the tabernacle in the wilderness of Sinai. It is threefold. It has a court around about. That is one part. It has a division in this tent. The first part of it is called the holy place, and a veil divides between the holy place and the most holy place. The most holy place is one department. The veil dividing the most holy place from the holy place. Hence, the holy place is part 2. And the surrounding of this outer court is part 3. So you see that everything that he has told man to make is threefold in that respect. Now I would like to refer to the next thing that God instructed man to make. He told David, who was the king of Israel, to temple was built, and he gave him the pattern for that temple by means of making him understand the structure of his physical body, so that he would know how to impart to his son Solomon. David being a type of God, he could not build the sanctuary, or he could not build the temple. His son Solomon had to build it. Just like God did not build the church, his son Christ said, upon this rock, his Father, I will build my church, and the very gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So the temple, God imparted instructions how to build it. The instructions and all, so far as in a sense that you can understand, is in your Bible. The history of it is in your Bible. And so the temple has a court around about, a holy place and a most holy place in it. So you can see by these three things, Noah's Ark, the tabernacle, and the temple, that everything that God instructed man to make, they were along that plan so that you can see and understand. Now, to make a direct reference in comparison to the universe, man in his research to understand things, while as yet we have not all reached that perfection of understanding, wonders why the 90 elements of matter are constructed as they are. 91 of those elements of matter, such as carbon, silicon, magnesium, and so forth and so on, being composed of electron, a proton, and a neutron, that is known to us as an atom. That is the ultra-microscopic particle of matter, as far as man's imagination can penetrate. We find that same identical series of and repetitions of threefold in nature. The third thing that I would like to mention in reference to that is, as I know it to be, or as I understand it to be, is the helium atom. It is but twofold. And the reason why it is but twofold is because there is an incorporeal creation, and then there is a visible creation. And that absent part is correlated with the invisible God that no man will ever visualize under any circumstance or condition. Those two component parts, the invisible creation and the visible creation, is embodied in the great invisible God of this stellar universe, in whom I believe the Apostle Paul made the reference in this correlation, in these words, "For in him we live and move and have our being." But no man has at any time ever seen God with his physical eye in his reality and as he is.